With the way Mother Earth is changing, it is only wise to have some understanding of cultural survival skills on this planet. As a Bush Tucker woman, I will teach you how to map Aboriginal culture through contemporary and traditional hunting and gathering practices. This looks like a turtle which they would have eaten in this area. So this is my mum's damper. It's the way to do it in the bush. I'm going to take you on an exciting new journey around Australia to some of the most spectacular locations to meet some amazing people. I'm going to show you how to hunt and gather food off this land that's abundant if you know what you're looking for. Today I'm going to take you on an exciting new journey through the Kimberleys, my country. I'm Samantha Martin and welcome to my Bush Tucker adventures. Windham is the most northerly town in Western Australia and is surrounded by low-lying mudflats. It's about 42 degrees here at the moment. It's really hot. And we're on the marsh flats of Windham, just on the outskirts of Windham, and it gets very hot out here. It's salt flats, so there's really no shades here. There's really no trees that grow out here except little shrubs, ground shrubs. It's best to sort of stay in the shade or keep cool when you're out here. We're heading that way to the King River and to the old prison baobab tree. The botanical name for the baobab tree is Adansonnia gogori. Hello? Hello? This is the prison baobab tree. It's a significant landmark of this area. So this is where they used to have bars across and up and down as well, just in case they escaped. It's quite cruel, the story about how the white policemen used to lock the Aboriginal elders and children and women in this tree in particular. They chained them with the real big thick chains around their necks and ankles and wrists, and walk them while they're on horseback through this area. You can still feel the presence in this tree, and people travel from all over the world to come and see this particular tree for whatever reason. They don't know the significant reasons behind Aboriginal people because that's not told. They just know that it used to be a prison tree. The baobab bark is used to make string, rope and twine. This place is abundant with bush tucker. As long as you know what you're looking for, I think, and you're brave enough to try the bush tucker, it's everywhere. To the naked eye, you wouldn't know. But I grew up with eating off the land and identifying which trees are which and where to get bush tucker. So it's quite a skill to have, and I'm grateful I have it. This is a little gubbing. It's a form of bush medicine and also bush tucker in this area. It grows on this big tree here, and just during the dry it actually falls and covers the ground, but there's not much around. I think the birds are getting into them. But it's really gooey. It's quite a really distinctive taste. It's full of vitamin C, and it's really good to prevent you from getting colds and flus. We're at the Muchilabra cave paintings, which is a significant part of Windham history. We always follow protocol, which is, giving acknowledgement to the ancestors and the spirits before we do go into the caves. It's really important to do that, to let the spirit know that you're here, because this country is very alive, and if you don't show respect and acknowledge the presence that is still here, something really bad could happen to you. So we're going to go and have a look at the cave paintings and just show you a little bit about what the significant elders used to do here. they used to paint on the caves because they didn't have canvases and paintings and acrylic paints. They used the materials from the rocks, which is called ochre, crushed up in with some water and tree sap and painted on the rocks. They depicted which animals they ate in the areas and also their families as well, with handprints as, you know, significant from babies right through to the elders. Sometimes they'd paint episodes of, you know, flooding or gatherings, ceremonies, but mainly you'd see animals that they ate in the area. It looks like it could have been a turtle, which I explained before, that they paint their animals on the walls so they can see what animals they can eat in this area. In this painting alone, you can see the Windham, and there's also a woman, there's a big man, and in the woman there's also a little one. It looks like it could be a family that was buried here. Maybe it's a sacred area for them. They would have lived here with the caves. They would have sheltered here from the sun, from the rain. This is the way they lived. They lived in caves. They lived in humpies. They didn't have electricity. They didn't have fridges, and they lived like this. They lived with nature. Finally, I get a chance to go back to my father's traditional land on Spear Valley. You can only access it by 4-wheel drive. Bush tucker is abundant, and I have an opportunity to share my knowledge with the younger kids. This is Kungaberry bush. We eat this. This is quite a beautiful little black berry, and it's really sweet, and it's only seasonal. It's such an exciting time because it's beautiful, and we also chop the roots as well, and we smoke the roots for any mosquitoes or anything like that, and it's one of the best bush tuckers in the Kimberleys. So we're going to have a look for some more and have a feed. We reach our water hole, and the first thing the kids do is get their fishing line in the water.
Get the bait.
Yeah. Little black brim, huh?
We're on Spear Valley land. I think this is a run off the Pentecost River, but it's a beautiful little water hole where my family and the kids all come and hang out and fish and play and swim. It's quite beautiful. Beautiful little spot. My family are fishing for black brim or catfish, and if they're lucky, maybe barramundi.
All my children to have a place to retire, and their children take over, and their children take over, and carry on with Speedwalk.
As a safety, my mum, Nancy Martin, clears the ground to make the fire.
Make fire because it's fighting for bushfire.
In the meantime, my mum sets the bush kitchen up and starts to prepare the dough, ready to make her famous damper, using secret ingredients, self-raising flour and a bit of water. She kneads the dough and gently flattens it out and tosses it onto the hot coals. The kids are becoming impatient with the smell of damper in the air. So this is my mum's damper. Just put on a bit of butter and jam. So I think she makes the best damper in the East Kimberleys. Yeah, I've tried making it, it doesn't work. It ends up turning out to be a bit of a rock or a frisbee, but somehow she just knows how to make it so beautiful. And I'm going to try it. Here we go. Very good.
Just like you remember?
Mm-hmm. You can taste the charcoal as well because it's been cooked on the coals. It's really lovely. It's the way to do it in the bush. There's no shops around here. You just make do. You have to have Nancy Martin with you though. The children are on the hunt for baobab nuts. The nuts are high in vitamin C and taste like sherbet with a sweet and sour flavour. To Aboriginal people, almost every part of the tree is used one way or another. The leaves and roots are used for medicinal purposes, mainly to treat gastric and chest infections. Baobab bark is strong and is used to make string, rope and twine, and the nuts can be eaten wet or dry. The tree trunk stores water, and it has been estimated that up to 120 litres of water may be stored in one tree.
Give me some. Yeah, take some of me. Yeah.
The baobab trees are only known to grow in the Kimberley region, and in the dry season we are delighted to collect the baobab nuts. The baobab nuts are full of vitamin C, and as kids and even now we actually go and collect them and burst them open and we eat them. It's actually like eating dried apricots. It has that sweet and sour texture and taste to the bulb, but it is really good for you. You can also do it as a little treat and add a bit of sugar and a bit of water with it, just to give it a bit of tanginess like you would with lemon and water. But the baobab nuts are beautiful. They also use them for carving and to do artwork on. So they have a diverse use for the baobab nuts, but I really like eating them just dry. They're so yummy. Later that afternoon, it was time to go hunting for bush turkey, the Australian bustard bird.
Yep.
There's a turkey just ahead of us. So we'll get him the dinner.
Did you get him?
Yeah, got him. Let's go and grab him. They are large birds, over 1 metre in height, with a wingspan of 1.2 metres. I just shot a turkey.
Yep.
This is going to be tonight's dinner. Take it back and feed my mum and my brother. Unfortunately, this is how we hunt and gather in this area, and we don't traditionally do it anymore with boomerangs and spears, but you know, we've got to make do because it's just the way we eat out here, and this is what we eat. So, you know, I bless this turkey and I thank it for giving us this life. And yeah, growing up you have to be brutal to be able to survive and eat in the bush, you know, and it's just the way of life out here. I journeyed back home, passing the majestic Kimberley ranges, and on sunset it turns the mountains into rich red ochre colour. So we're just plucking the turkey now.
Yeah.
And preparing it for dinner tonight. We might either put it on the coals or put it in the camp oven and do like a baked turkey with some potatoes and onion. So Mum, do you remember when I was a little girl how I used to go out and hunt and collect berries and stuff in the bush?
Yeah. We used to walk down the rifle range at Windham, where we used to live. We used to go looking for gooseberry and little paddy melon they call gargle. And when we used to go fishing, you used to be the first one to get the wood and light the fire and put the billy on and do your fishing. And you used to try to cook too. I knew you was going to go somewhere because she was a little bit different to my other girls.
In what way?
You was sort of forward kind of girl, not shy kind of. And I was thinking to myself, my golly, this girl got to go somewhere, far away land. And it did come true to me. Made me a very happy mom. If everybody asks me about, where's Sam? Or sometimes they say, we say Sam on the TV, you know. And I give them that look to say, well, that's my daughter from Windham.
The kids wait patiently by the fire. Just in a camp oven in some hot coals, and it's a traditional way of cooking. It's called gungun, and I've put some potatoes and onion and cabbage in there with it with some salt, seasoned it with some salt. Now I'm going to cover it with some hot coals so it actually bakes like it's baking in the oven. This is Batika. I think we're all very excited to go and see the American Indians, aren't we, Batika? After 35 minutes of baking the turkey in the camp oven, it's time to pull it out. And it smells absolutely delicious, and even the kids think so. This meal will provide a high source of protein. The saltwater plains remind me of my late grandfather Jack Jageri, who walked 500 kilometres from Halls Creek to my hometown Windham. Halls Creek is a small town with a population of 4,000 people. In the centre of town is where the statue of my grandfather Jack Jageri resides. Standing in front of my grandfather Jack Jageri's statue. Jack Jageri was a remarkable man. He did a walk where he walked through the bush 500 kilometres for a documentary called The Human Race. It was a race between three men, three different cultures, three different age groups, and also three different purposes. My grandfather walked against alcohol basically, and I'm really proud of his achievement. He was 72 when he did that, and he stands really proud of what he had achieved, and I'd like to think that I'm going to take on his walk to walk against alcohol for our people and promoting the awareness of culture to the world. I'm really proud of my grandfather. This is my uncle Johnny Jageri. He's the son of Granny Jageri, third oldest son. And he's a living legend as well in this community. He's a bit of an ambassador. He doesn't drink anymore. He's given up the grog, which was what his father wanted his children to do, and he's doing that now. So I'm really proud of him. I came to a dry creek bed which carries millions of litres of water in the wet season. Even the cattle struggle for a drink out here. The last time I was here we had a huge monsoon rain, and this whole riverbed was covered in water. It was all underwater, and it's quite bizarre to see it really dry and, you know, not a speck of rain or water or anything. I think there'll be some water holes up here, so we'll just go and try our luck and get some bream and maybe come across a guana and chase a guana and cook it up for dinner. So what's this track here? What is it, snake?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because what's this here? It looks like you got a little foot. You see? So it might be a what? What has legs?
Little foot. Guana.
Guana. So let's go look for some guana, eh?
Yeah.
Come on then.
And kill him.
And kill them. And what you gonna do with them?
Eat him up.
Eat them up. In the dry season, the eucalyptus gum trees are in blossom, which gives a little sign to the Aboriginal people of a little hidden secret of more bush tucker. I've just found some little sugar gum leaves, and as a young girl we used to come and collect these and eat them. They were like our little sugar fix, our little lollies. And the little insects, yellow insects, make them, produce the sugar. We used to come and eat it all day. It was really sweet. I reached the Aboriginal community of Warman and call in to see an old family member who I haven't seen for a long time.
I'm Josie McNally. I'm a acting senior sergeant here at the Warman Multi-Facility Police Station. Medal for Brave Conduct, which I got in Meekatharra for rescuing 12 people. The last time I saw Sam, she was only very, very young, and I knew then she was, you know, going still on her path of greatness. There was just something very, very different about Sammy. I'm so proud of her, like everybody else here. Her family just love her too much. She is truly, truly, typically the Aboriginal person that has done everything, no matter how bad it was. She just pulled herself up, go out there, see our brothers and sisters, tell them our life, and good luck, and just promote us, because, you know, we are a proud, strong race of people.
I feel very connected to this land. It's almost like a feeling of belonging, a feeling of connection, a feeling that I've come home. I've come home to the ancestors, I've come home to the spirits, and I feel like the cultures are going to pass and die with the old people, and it's up to us the younger generation to really take ownership of that, really take it with both hands and go, well, this is what we have come from, this is what we have now, what do we want to do with it? And it's us who need to really regain that culture to pass on to the next generation, because if this gap fails, then it's gone forever, and it's not fair on the next generation. And why let it fall? Why let it go? It's the connection to land, it's the connection to each other and living as family and eating off the land and surviving the hardship and also coming through the modern changes of time. I think what we need to do is recognize the changes that we have come through, to be proud of where we are now. And it's up to us, the younger generation, to really be a part of that. And it's time to do it now. So we're at Red Hill just after our community meeting today. I had my sister Yvonne actually collect us some white ochre from this homestead, and I'm going to crush it up today and paint the kids up. This is a form of ochre rock. It actually comes in a grain through the hill and or in the ground, and you dig for it, and it's a solid rock like that. And what you have to do is crush it up, and it's a tradition that's been used for generations through the Aboriginal culture. This is our form of traditional painting materials. So you crush it up and naturally put tree sap with it to bind the water and the ochre. But nowadays we use glue and water. So we're going to just use a bit of water so it doesn't stick to the kids' faces. Okay, you kids, what is this?
Ochre!
And where do we find it?
In the ground!
And what do we do with it?
Paint yourself!
Do we paint ourselves, and what else do we do with it?
Paint on board.
That's right. And what do we put with it?
Wood. Water.
Good.
And glue.
And glue. And why we put glue with it?
To make it stick to the board.
That's right.
To make it white.
Tanya. She look good?
Yes!
And who's next?
Me.
Okay. Your mother and father?
We move into this groove. Come on, remove your shoes. I like to see you smile. This is the only style. Make some space for the bass.
With the dancing, the boys tend to sort of more take the lead. They do the front dancing, whereas the women stand back and dance to the back.
Over in the distance, I see Jacqueline looking at a familiar tree. She's only 2 years old, but already she knows what she's looking for.
Come on, kids.
I take the kids down to the waterhole to find some natural soap tree.
Here's yourself.
Look at that.
Look at mine.
Yeah, see, you got it.
That's a soap tree. It's we used to use it to wash our faces and also to catch fish as well. It sort of mesmerises the fish and numbs them. That's a traditional way of catching fish and washing. It's called a soap tree, which is a native wattle.
The kids love swimming in the water holes, and it gives me a chance to do some fishing.
This land offered a lot of bush tucker, from barramundis to yabbies to black brim, catfish, bush turkey, wild figs along the riverbanks. We've got tree gum. It's basically what we eat when we come out here, so you can only imagine what the mob ate when they were here. You know, it's just a matter of adapting to the land and just utilising what you have and being appreciative of what is on this land. Getting a bite.
Enjoying it good.
I got something.
The black brim fish is really fresh and delicious here in the Kimberleys, and this one will be going on the hot coals when I get back to camp.
As you can see behind me, we've got this beautiful big wild bushfire that actually started up in the hills this afternoon as we passed, and coming back down, it's just spread through the whole valley. So yeah, it's really important that we have regular burn-offs here every year, because the birds and especially the plant life, it actually thrives on the burn-offs, and it's important to actually burn off in the beginning of the wet season, because the wet will come and actually germinate the seeds and make everything grow really beautiful and green. So Aboriginal people were doing this, you know, for generation to generation every year. They knew the importance of the fire on the land and what it had to do to germinate the seeds, and also for hunting as well.
Yeah, I've got most of my family members here, not all of them, but most of them are here. The younger children anyway, siblings, and our grandchildren. We're going to basically smoke the whole family. It gives all of us a blessing as well. It's been a long time since we've all been here together, so it's yeah, it's an exciting time.
Keeping up alive, standing strong in my culture. Keeping customs alive, standing strong in my culture.
It hasn't been a tradition in our family, but we're trying to make it a tradition now, because it's part of our ancestors' tradition. So as the Martin family, as we bring people onto our land, respecting the culture, respecting the ancestors, it's really important that we do follow our protocol and do this the right way. I hope you enjoyed my bush tucker adventures. I'm Samantha Martin, and I'll see you next time.
Standing strong.